John Cena's final words after retirement match shocked the world. The arena is silent. Grown men are crying. Kids who grew up wearing his armbands stand in disbelief. For the first time in over 20 years, John Cena just tapped out. And what he said after leaving that ring will leave you absolutely speechless. You know, there are moments in wrestling that transcend the sport itself. Moments that burrow deep into your soul and remind you why we fall in love with this crazy, beautiful business. December 13, 2025, at the Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C., gave us one of those moments. But not in the way anyone expected. Imagine being in that arena. The electricity in the air so thick you could cut it with a knife. 24,000 fans packed into every corner, every seat, every piece of standing room they could find. Legends sitting ringside, current superstars watching from the back, and millions around the world glued to their screens. All for one man. All for one final time. When Gunther's music hit, the boos came instantly. Wave after wave of hatred washing over the ring general as he marched down that ramp with cold, calculated confidence. This man had promised, no, guaranteed that he would make John Cena submit. In front of the world. In Cena's final match. The audacity. The disrespect. The sheer brutality of that promise hung in the air like a storm cloud ready to break. And then the wait. That agonizing, beautiful wait before Cena's music would hit for the very last time. You could feel every heartbeat in that building. Parents squeezing their children's hands a little tighter. Fans clutching their never-give-up towels like lifelines. Because deep down, everyone knew. This was it. The last time. No coming back. No surprise returns at WrestleMania. This was goodbye. When those familiar horns blared through the speakers, the explosion of emotion was unlike anything I've ever witnessed. The run to the ring, the slide, that iconic salute, every single beat of John Cena's entrance carried the weight of 24 years. 24 years of sacrifices. 24 years of carrying an entire company on his shoulders. 24 years of being the guy who never, ever quit. Before the bell even rang, Cena did something that showed you exactly what kind of man he is. He slid out of the ring and went person to person, hugging the legends at ringside. Kevin Owens, Kurt Angle, Rob Van Dam, Haku, Michelle McCool, Sami Zayn, each embrace lasting just a second longer than normal. Each one a silent thank you. Each one a passing of the torch he'd carried for so long. The referee called for the bell. 23 minutes and 44 seconds of pure, unadulterated warfare was about to unfold. From the opening collar and elbow tie-up, you could see this wasn't going to be just another match. Gunther, standing 6'4" and weighing 310 pounds of Austrian muscle, had a size advantage. But size doesn't measure heart. And John Cena's heart has always been bigger than any opponent he's ever faced. The early moments were tense, calculated. Both men feeling each other out, knowing that every move, every counter, every strike would be analyzed and remembered forever. Gunther backed away from the second tie-up, rolling out of the ring to build that he'll heat even higher. The crowd erupted in boos, their voices screaming at him to get back in the ring and face their hero. When Gunther finally re-entered, he came with violence. Brutal European uppercuts that echoed through the arena like gunshots. Each one snapping Cena's head back. Each one designed to break his spirit before breaking his body. The ring general was methodical, surgical in his approach. He dominated the first half of that match with a level of aggression that made you wonder if Cena would even survive to see the final bell. But then, that moment we'd all been waiting for. Cena fought back. The five-knuckle shuffle connected, and the arena erupted like Mount Vesuvius. Cena's calling card. His signature. One more time. He lifted Gunther, all 310 pounds of him, for the attitude adjustment. The crowd was on their feet. This was it. But Gunther escaped. Slithered out like the ring general he is and locked in the sleeper hold for the first time. You could feel the oxygen being sucked out of that building. The sleeper hold. The very move Gunther promised would end Cena's career. But Cena wasn't done. Not yet. He powered out, breaking free with every ounce of strength left in his body, and the relief in that arena was palpable. What came next was an absolute war. Cena locked in the STF, his own submission move, cranking back on Gunther's neck with everything he had. The irony wasn't lost on anyone. Would John Cena end his career with a submission victory, the same way he started it all those years ago? But Gunther escaped. Of course he did. This story wasn't written for a fairy tale ending. Gunther unleashed a devastating sequence. A massive dropkick that folded Cena in half. A powerbomb that shook the ring. A clothesline from hell that nearly decapitated the 16-time world champion. The crowd started chanting Super Cena, ironically, trying to will their hero back into the fight with the very chant they used to mock him with years ago. How times change. How perspectives shift when you realize what you're about to lose. Cena rallied. God, did he rally. A second five-knuckle shuffle. Another attitude adjustment, this time through the announce table, wood and monitors exploding in every direction. The crowd was deafening. The hope was real. Maybe, just maybe, John Cena could pull off one last miracle. But Gunther is not just any opponent. He's the man who defeated Goldberg. The man who held the Intercontinental Championship for an eternity. The man Triple H himself has positioned as the future of this company. And in this moment, on this night, Gunther refused to let destiny be rewritten. The final sequence is something nightmares are made of if you're a Cena fan. Gunther locked in that sleeper hold again. Cena fought. Lord, how he fought. breaking free once, twice. Each time the hope building, the belief growing that maybe he could overcome this one more time. But Gunther was relentless. He locked it in again, tighter this time, his forearm crushing against Cena's throat like a steel pipe. You could see Cena fading, his arms dropping, his movements slowing. The crowd was chanting his name so loud you couldn't hear yourself think, "Let's go Cena! Let's go Cena!" Over and over and over, like a prayer, like a plea, like a desperate attempt to transfer their energy into his dying body. And then, something nobody expected. Something nobody wanted to see. John Cena, the man whose entire brand was built on never give up, started tapping. Not quickly, not with panic, but slowly, methodically, with a knowing smile on his face. A smile of acceptance. A smile that said, "I gave you everything I had. I have nothing left." The referee called for the bell. The match was over. John Cena's career was over. If you're still watching, if these words are hitting you the way they're hitting me right now, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button. Join the SLAMZONE family, because we break down these moments that matter. These stories that make wrestling more than just a sport. It's art. It's emotion. It's life. And I want you here for every single moment of it. The reaction in that building was something you had to see to believe. Gunther celebrated, but the boos he received weren't normal heel heat. These were real. Visceral. Fans were crying. Actually crying. Grown men with tears streaming down their faces. Kids sobbing into their parents' arms. Because something was taken from them that night. Not just a wrestler. Not just a performer. But a piece of their childhood. A piece of their identity. Gunther left the ring as the boos intensified. Fans were chanting things I can't even repeat on this channel. The anger was real. The heartbreak was genuine. How dare he make John Cena quit? How dare he be the one to end the career of the greatest WWE superstar of this generation? But what happened next is what this whole video is about. What happened next is what shocked the world. After Gunther exited, the entire WWE locker room came out. CM Punk and Cody Rhodes, the current world champions, walked down that ramp carrying their titles. They draped those championships over Cena's shoulders, a sign of ultimate respect. Triple H presented a tribute video on the big screen, featuring legends from every era. Vince McMahon, The Rock, Stone Cold Steve Austin, everyone who had shared a ring with the man who defined modern WWE. Cena sat in the center of the ring, surrounded by his peers, soaking it all in. He looked at each corner of that arena, at every face in the crowd, at every person who had been part of his journey. And then, he did something that broke everyone all over again. He took off his sneakers, his trademark shoes. He removed his armbands and his wristbands, and he placed them in the center of the ring. The symbolism was deafening. Those weren't just shoes and armbands. They were John Cena's armor, his uniform, his identity as a WWE superstar, and he was leaving them behind. Forever. He kissed the ring. The crowd chanted "Thank you, Cena" through their tears and their pain. He bowed to all four corners one final time. And then, he walked up that ramp, slowly, taking in every step, every sound, every cheer, every moment of a career that had given him everything and taken just as much. But here's the moment that matters. Here's what shocked the world. At the top of the ramp, before disappearing behind that curtain forever, John Cena stopped. He turned to face the camera, and the millions watching around the world. He gave one final salute. And then he spoke. 11 words. Just 11 simple words that somehow captured 24 years of sacrifice, dedication, and love. "It's been a pleasure serving you all these years. Thank you." That's it. That's what he said. No long speech. No emotional breakdown. No tears or dramatics. Just a simple, genuine thank you for allowing him to be part of our lives. But here's the thing that makes these words so powerful, so shocking, so absolutely perfect. John Cena didn't say performing for you or entertaining you. He said serving you, like a soldier. Like someone who understood that being John Cena was never about him. It was about us. The fans. The kids who needed a hero. The adults who needed an escape. The people fighting their own battles who needed someone to show them that perseverance matters. According to Mark Henry, who was backstage that night, there were 30 to 40 wrestlers lined up waiting to hug Cena when he came through that curtain. Grown men crying like they hadn't cried since someone died. That's the impact. That's what John Cena meant to the business. Not just a draw. Not just a main eventer, but family. If you haven't already, smash that like button. Leave a comment below telling me your favorite John Cena memory. Share this video with every wrestling fan you know. Because this is history. This is a moment we'll be talking about for decades. And I want the SLAMZONE family to be part of preserving these stories forever. The controversy hasn't stopped. Fans are still divided on whether the finish was right. WWE personality Jackie Redmond said she hated seeing Cena tap. She understood it intellectually but emotionally couldn't accept it. The never give up guy gave up. Jeff Jarrett called it the single dumbest finish in wrestling. The internet exploded with hot takes and angry reactions. But here's what Triple H said during the post-show, and maybe this is what we all need to hear. He said John Cena did what every true professional does on their way out. He put someone else over. He left the business better than he found it. That's the tradition. That's what legends do. They don't go out on top with their hands raised. They go out on their backs, giving the next generation the credibility they need to carry the torch forward. And Gunther? He's compared his moment to Brock Lesnar ending The Undertaker's streak at WrestleMania 30. He's not wrong. That moment was controversial, shocking, and divisive. But it also gave Brock Lesnar a level of monster credibility that lasted a decade. Gunther now has that same aura. He's the man who retired Goldberg. The man who made John Cena quit. He's the mountain that every wrestler in WWE will have to climb. In an interview after the match, Gunther was asked what he said to Cena during their private moment in the ring. His answer was simple. "I said thank you. That's the only appropriate thing to say in that situation." Even the villain understood the magnitude of what just happened. John Cena's silence since that night speaks volumes. He posted one image on Instagram, a picture of his boots and armbands laid out in the center of the ring. No caption, no long explanation, just the image. Because sometimes, the most powerful statements are the ones we don't have to explain. Look, I know some of you are still angry about the finish. I know some of you wanted Cena to ride off into the sunset with one last victory. I get it. I understand that emotion because I feel it too. But step back for a second. Look at what John Cena actually accomplished in his final year. He turned heel for the first time since 2003, showing us a side of his character we'd never seen before. He won his 17th World Championship, tying Ric Flair's legendary record. He main event shows across the globe, giving fans in cities he'd never wrestled in before the chance to see him live. He requested that young NXT talent be featured on his final card, specifically calling out J. Yvonne Evans and Leon Slater as the future. He spent his last moments in that ring making Gunther look like an unstoppable force. That's not the behavior of a man protecting his legacy. That's the behavior of a man who loves this business more than he loves himself. The night before the match, Gunther told TMZ that backstage felt more important than WrestleMania. Everyone understood what was happening. The clock was ticking. The time bomb was about to explode. And when it did, when that final bell rang and Cena tapped out, the explosion wasn't just in that arena. It rippled through the entire wrestling world. Cena told Jimmy Kimmel before the match that this has never been done in WWE history. Wrestlers don't retire. They hang on for one more match, one more moment, one more chance to prove they've still got it. But John Cena promised us a year-long farewell tour, and he delivered. He told us December 13th would be his last match, and it was. No surprise returns. No coming out of retirement storylines. Just a man keeping his word. That level of integrity is rare in any industry, let alone professional wrestling. When Cena walked through that curtain for the last time, he wasn't just ending his career. He was closing a chapter in WWE history. The chapter where one man carried the company through its most turbulent times. The chapter where merchandise sales reached unprecedented heights because of one man's face on t-shirts. The chapter where hustle, loyalty, respect became more than just words on a shirt, but a philosophy that inspired millions. The beauty of those 11 words, "It's been a pleasure serving you all these years, thank you," is that they encapsulate everything John Cena represents. Humility, gratitude, dedication, service. He didn't thank the fans for making him rich, though we did. He didn't thank us for making him famous, though we did that too. He thanked us for allowing him to serve. Like serving was the privilege. Like we gave him something instead of the other way around. That's leadership. That's character. That's why John Cena will be remembered as one of the greatest to ever do it. Before I let you go, I want you to do something for me. I want you to think about your own journey with John Cena. Maybe you booed him during the Super Cena era when he seemed invincible. Maybe you were a kid who wore his headband to school every day. Maybe you came back to wrestling after years away because you heard Cena was retiring and wanted to see him one last time. Whatever your story is, it matters. It's part of the tapestry that makes wrestling special. Make sure you're subscribed to SLAMZONE because we've got incredible content coming your way. Breakdowns of the Royal Rumble. Analysis of who's next for Gunther. Deep dives into the careers of the legends we're watching retire. This channel is for real fans who understand that wrestling isn't just about the moves or the storylines. It's about the emotion, the connection, the way this ridiculous, beautiful, predetermined sport can make us feel things we didn't know we could feel. Hit that notification bell so you never miss an upload. Drop a comment sharing your favorite Cena moment. And share this video with someone who needs to understand what we all just witnessed. John Cena's career is over, but his legacy will live forever. Not because of the championships or the WrestleMania main events or the Hollywood movies, but because of those 11 words. Because of the way he made us feel. Because he understood that the greatest gift any performer can receive is the opportunity to serve the people who believe in them. Gunther may have won the match, but John Cena won something far more valuable. He won our respect, our admiration, our eternal gratitude for 24 years of giving everything he had every single time he stepped through those ropes. The ring is a little emptier now. The locker room is a little quieter. And the wrestling world is a little less bright without John Cena lacing up those boots. But what a journey it was. What an absolute privilege to watch a master craftsman perfect his art over 2 decades. As we close out this video, I want to echo Cena's words one more time. It's been a pleasure. Not just for him serving us, but for us witnessing greatness in real time. Thank you, John Cena. For the memories. For the inspiration. for showing us what it means to never give up, even when the end is inevitable. This is SLAMZONE, and we'll see you in the next one. Stay humble, stay hungry, and never forget what this business gave us. Because on December 13, 2025, at the Capital One Arena in Washington, D.C., the impossible happened. John Cena tapped out. John Cena retired. And John Cena showed us one final time exactly who he is. A servant, a hero, a legend.